Hello and welcome. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell, and our big focus tonight is, of course, the one rank, one pension announcement that by the government that the veterans really are not into that much. What has happened? We'll be filling in on that as well. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. Veterans meet Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar to iron out differences over OROP implementation. Parrikar acknowledges issues, promises clarification soon. India pitches for strong safety net to check volatility in world economy as G20 finance ministers discuss global economic crisis in Turkey. Thousands of migrants reach Austria. Hold on, because we just want to fill our viewers in on the developments that have been taking place through the day, because that meeting, in fact, came on a day when the government announced the much-awaited OROP scheme. Now, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar said that though it's a big burden on the exchequer, the government has decided to realise the long-standing demand of the veterans. So take a look at the story through the day.
Despite the huge financial burden, given its commitment to welfare of ex-servicemen, the government has taken a decision to implement the OROP.
The Defence Minister making the much-awaited announcement on one rank, one pension. But from then on, almost every announcement met with a counter when veterans who have been protesting for the past 82 days demanding the implementation of the scheme responded to the Defence Minister. The first among them was the date from which the scheme will be effective.
Under the OROP scheme, the benefit will be given with effect from 1st July 2014.
1st जुलाई 2014 से लागू होगा, जो कि पहले सरकार ने 1 अप्रैल 2014 से अनाउंसमेंट किया हुआ था.
Second was the revision of pension.
It has been decided that the gap between the rate of pension of current pensioners and past pensioners will be breached every 5 years.
जैसे जैसे दर बदली होगी, ऑटोमेटिकली उसी वक्त वो दर सारे पिछड़े वालों को पास कर दी जाएगी. इसलिए हम ये 5 साल का टाइम है, उसको भी टोटली रिजेक्ट करते हैं.
On the issue of equalization of pension, the government announced the setting up of a one-judge committee to look into the matter within 6 months. Protesting veterans have rejected that offer as well.
This is not an administrative matter alone. Therefore, it has also been decided that one-member judicial committee would be constituted, which will give its report in 6 months.
One-member judicial commission ये equalization के लिए बनाया है. उसका 1 member और 6 महीने उसको हम totally reject करते हैं भाइयों. वो हमको मंजूर नहीं है, क्योंकि 6 महीने में क्या एक मेंबर, वो भी जुडिशियल, जिनको हमारी कंडीशन या हमारे के बारे में कुछ मालूम नहीं है, का टाइम सिर्फ 30 दिन होना चाहिए.
The government with this announcement hoped to realize the 42-year-old demand of ex-servicemen and put an end to the confrontation. Vishal Dahiya and Anu Diwan's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And post the announcement, and the Congress traded charges over the implementation of OROP. While the BJP accused the Congress of never seriously implementing the scheme and only talking about it, the Congress called the new proposal a dirty joke.
कांग्रेस के समय में ही सेना के जवानों को पेंशन को कम करने का फैसला 1973 में लिया गया, और जब कांग्रेस की सरकार थी, उसकी अंतिम घड़ियां थी, तब वन रैंक वन पेंशन के लिए सिर्फ 500 करोड़ रुपए का आवंटन कर सेना के जवानों का एक तरह से मजाक भी उड़ाया गया था. आज जिस प्रक्रिया से वन रैंक वन पेंशन को स्वीकार किया है, करीब करीब 9,000 से 10,000 करोड़ के बीच में सेना के जवानों को फायदा मिलने वाला है.
Today's announcement about one rank one pension by the Defence Minister is totally disappointing. They have substantially diluted the one rank one pension scheme announced by the UPA government.
And we have with us Lieutenant General Utpal Bhattacharya, defence expert, to help us understand. Lieutenant General Bhattacharya, as far as what the pensioner, what the veterans were saying earlier in the day, immediately after the announcement, and what after that meeting with Defence Minister, there seems to have a lot of negotiations that have taken place in that intervening time. So, do we see the agitation still go on as the veterans had said earlier in the day, or do we see these agitations winding down now?
No, I think the defense minister will see the light, and those prickly issues, like you see that PMR thing, please don't mention it as a VRS for heaven's sake.
Right.
The premature retirement things, that will cost exchequer another about 10% more. If it is 10,000 to 12,000 the areas, it will add to another about 1,000 crores of rupees. And similarly, yearly, instead of 8,000, it will add to probably another 1,000 crore rupees more.
Right.
So for that, let's not do any nitpicking. That is one. Second point is the 5 years review. Now we are going for so many smart cities. We are the world capital for the IT. I think if Mr. Narayan Murthy or Mr. Ajim Premji is asked, please give us a software so that yearly it can be reviewed, or as the veterans have agreed, that every 2 yearly it will be reviewed. It's not going to be a nightmare, mathematics nightmare and all these things. We are not in the 1960s that you are working with slide rule or the logbook or the calculator. It will be really done with it. We are in the click technology now. So please, that's not going to be a nightmare. And I'm sure, as I mentioned, for such great cause, Ajim Premji or Narayan Murthy, they will send their team and they will do it free. So that is one thing. Otherwise, it ceases to be OROP, one rank, one pension. Otherwise, it becomes one rank, 5 pensions. So that is another thing. These are the things which I'm sure the government will look into it. And third point is one-man judicial these things. With all due respect to the retired judges and all, there are certain peculiar things which are very, very particular about the services background. So there has to be service background. Otherwise, you will again land up with a term like VRS and all these things, as if that you are giving some money and then he's making a solid golden handshake. Our handshake or our salute is completely with a dry palm showing you. Remember that. So with that, there must be some veterans, there must be some bureaucrats also. It has to be a wholesome thing. Remember, the Bharat Singh Koshyari committee, they took 1 year and 9 days, 13 days rather. 6 December 2010 it was established. They gave the report on 19 December 2011. There are 10 respected parliamentarians with Bharat Singh Koshyari, Rambilas Paswan, and all 8 senior MPs, and there are 4 bureaucrats also there. And they had interviewed people all across, and then they have come out with that Koshyari committee report, which is actually the spinal cord of that complete OROP. So it is that sort of a thing. So let's not dilute it with one judicial committee's inquiry. Otherwise, you will have a lot of court cases going. The main idea is not to go for a court case after such a noble decision.
All right, indeed, a noble decision as you're calling it by the government. But many of the veterans still are wanting more clarifications, as you're also suggesting. So let's see what the government does next. But Lieutenant General Bhattacharya, thank you very much for coming in and helping us understand the veterans' perspective on this particular issue a little more. Well, on that note, we'll take a very quick break. Coming up on the other side, the G20 finance ministers and central bank chiefs gather in Ankara in Turkey to discuss the global economic situation. More on that on the other side.
Today we bring to you the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2015.
There should be some provision to regulate the unchecked proliferation of the substandard institutions.
The central government here is trying to stop the admission process.
Why not stop the admissions there and then, the moment it is suggested by the CCH to the Ministry of Ayush?
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was on a day-long visit to Bodh Gaya today to attend the concluding ceremony of the International Buddhist Conclave. There, the Prime Minister pledged to develop Bodh Gaya as the spiritual capital of the Buddhist world. As his visit coincided with Teachers' Day, Modi described Gautam Buddha as one of the most important teachers in world history.
Bodh Gaya, the place where Lord Buddha attained enlightenment, will be developed into a spiritual capital so that it can serve as a civilizational bond between India and the Buddhist world. This announcement was made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his maiden visit to the holy place.
The place where we are meeting makes it even more special. We are meeting in Bodh Gaya, a land that has distinctive place in the history of humankind. This is the land of enlightenment. Years ago, what Bodh Gaya got was Siddhartha. But what Bodh Gaya gave to the world was Lord Buddha, the epitome of knowledge, peace and compassion.
Modi was there to attend the concluding day ceremony of the 3-day International Buddhist Conclave that began in Delhi. At the event, he underlined the relevance of Buddhist teachings for conflict resolution.
The world is looking to the Buddha today as conflict resolution mechanism and environmental regulations, both of them dependent on the instrumentality of nation states, are increasingly failing to measure up to challenges.
Later, the Prime Minister also attended a special prayer and visited a photo exhibition on Buddhist heritage and the holy relics of Lord Buddha at the Mahabodhi Society of India. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And President Pranab Mukherjee today conferred national awards to over 300 teachers for the year 2014. At a function organized by the Ministry of Human Resource Development in Delhi, the President cited renowned ancient seats of learning like Takshila and asked educational institutes to regain their leadership position by attracting talent to the academic profession. He also urged teachers who work in schools, colleges and universities to redefine themselves and make efforts to make their performance meaningful.
An inspired teacher links the individual goals of the students to the societal and national goals. Such teachers appeal not only to the head but also the heart. Responsibility of providing aware, conscious and intellectual citizens who build the future of our nation lies with the teachers.
Time now for us to take a look at all the other national news and updates in Nationwide. Sahitya Academy Award winner Uday Prakash has decided to return his award and the award money in protest against the murder of Kannada scholar M.M. Kalburgi. He announced his decision on a social media site, although he is yet to inform the Sahitya Academy officially. Normalcy is returned to strife-torn Churachandpur district of Manipur after steps were taken to bring mob violence under control. The town has seen violence against 3 bills passed by the Manipur Assembly on the 31st of August. 8 people died in the violence. A conglomerate of citizen organizations in Churachandpur district imposed a public curfew in the town since Saturday morning, bringing the situation under control. An army jawan was injured as Pakistani troops on Saturday violated ceasefire by firing on forward posts along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch district. The number of ceasefire violations has gone up to 6 in September. There were 57 violations of the border ceasefire agreement by Pakistan in August, and over 250 ceasefire violations have happened so far this year. The World Water Walk for Peace was organized in the national capital on Saturday. The walk was organized under the leadership of well-known water conservationist Rajendra Singh. The walk aims to spread awareness about water conservation. Now, India today made a strong pitch for global safety nets to tackle volatility in currency movements and markets. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said this as his counterpart from G20's economies gathered in Turkey to discuss the emerging global economic crisis.
Making a strong pitch for global safety nets to tackle volatility in currency movements and markets, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley sought well-designed and quickly triggered safety mechanism under IMF. This, he said, would strengthen liquidity via multilateral swap arrangements between member countries. Jaitley said, and I quote, that recent episodes of market volatility and currency movements again pose a lingering question on the need for global safety nets to address market concerns. I strongly believe that ad hoc, individual, reactionary measures can contain the adverse impact of such events only for a limited period. These cannot provide a sustainable solution, which can happen only by global policy coordination, unquote. The demand for safety nets has risen after the recent devaluation of the yuan by China.
シャドーバンキングだけでなく銀行セクターも含めた金融セクター全体の不要債権の処理といった構造的課題に取り組むことが重要であることを申し上げております。
The United States has also publicly rebuked Beijing for the opacity of its statistics and its strategy to support the domestic economy. The US also pressed China to improve the communication of its economic policy and avoid competitive devaluations. The G20 and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, also announced new corporate governance principles for listed companies and regulators in all member countries, including India. This has been to safeguard minority shareholders' interest and promote capital market as a key platform to raise funds. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, after days of standoff, protests and confusion, thousands of migrants reached Austria from Hungary. This after Hungary's surprise decision to provide buses to take migrants to the border overnight. Austria, meanwhile, gave migrants the choice to seek asylum there or carry on to Germany. Now, Hungary eased transit restrictions for migrants after many of them overwhelmed police cordons and set off towards the border on foot.
Welcome to Austria. Welcome.
Applause and tears of joy after a long, chaotic journey. Wrapped in blankets and sleeping bags to protect against rain, long lines of weary migrants arrived in Austria after a week-long standoff with Hungarian officials. Austria provided extra trains and buses to take them to Vienna, from where they will make a choice for their next stop, either go to Germany or seek asylum in Austria. Hungary went out of its way to provide an overnight bus service to take migrants to the border on Friday, even as Europe's asylum system buckled under pressure.
We have no idea, probably we're gonna go to Germany.
We are so tired, we are so angry, I hope that the coming is better. We hope that all of these people hope that.
Austria and Germany decided to accept migrants following the emergency situation in Hungary. German Chancellor Angela Merkel, meanwhile, said that the burden brought on by the influx of migrants into Europe should be fairly shared among the European countries. Meanwhile, British Prime Minister David Cameron increased the humanitarian aid to Syrian refugees by £100 million.
Damit dürfen wir die Gemeinden nicht alleine lassen. Damit werden wir auch die Länder nicht alleine lassen, sondern Bund, Länder und Kommunen verstehen das als eine gemeinsame Aufgabe.
Prime Ministers of the V4 group of countries, the Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary and Slovakia, have demanded Europe to work together to tackle the crisis without imposing quotas.
We need an exceptional response. Business as usual or incremental improvements of mechanisms in place will not be able to address what it is today, a massive refugee and migration crisis. We really need a massive relocation program.
The stream of migrants pouring into Macedonia from Greece remains constant and unrelenting. According to reports, an estimated 2,000 migrants arrive on Greek islands by boat every day from the Turkish coast. As anger and grief turned into concern for homeless migrants, an Egyptian billionaire came up with a crazy idea to solve the refugee crisis, buying an island in Greece or Italy to house the migrants. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time now for all the other international news and updates in Global Buzz. Syria's antiquities chief has confirmed that Islamic State militants blew up 3 funerary towers at the ancient city of Palmyra. The towers were built between 44 and 103 AD and were one of the best preserved. Their demolition comes only days after the IS blew up Palmyra's 2 main temples. The militants had captured the UNESCO World Heritage Site from the government forces in May. The UAE has said that 45 of its soldiers have been killed while taking part in a Saudi-led military campaign against Yemen's Houthi rebels. In one of the deadliest attacks since the conflict began, UAE troops were killed on Friday when a Houthi missile hit a weapons storage depot near their position. The government has declared a 3-day period of mourning for the soldiers. More than 7.5 million Guatemalans will vote in Sunday's presidential and parliamentary elections. The polls have come just as a campaign to remove incumbent President Otto Perez Molina for alleged corruption led to his resignation and being sent to prison. 14 candidates are in the running for the post, and if none of them gets the 50% vote, then a runoff will be held on the 25th of October. Time for some sports now, and the Indian women's junior hockey team made a sensational start to the 7th Asia Cup at Changzhou in China. The Indian team knocked out North Korea 13-0 in their opening match. Indian captain Rani produced a smashing performance, scoring 5 goals, including 3 ferocious ones within the space of 3 minutes after half-time. Striker Navneet Kaur and midfielder scored a goal each. India will next take on Singapore on Sunday. In a big upset at the US Open, world number 8 Rafael Nadal was knocked out in the 3rd round. The Spaniard lost in a 5-set thriller to Italian Fabio Fognini. Top seeds Novak Djokovic and Serena Williams, though, advanced to the next round. India had a disappointing day with both Sania Mirza and Leander Paes losing their respective matches.
Rafael Nadal's poor run at Grand Slams continued as the world number 8 crashed out of the US Open after losing in the 3rd round. Nadal was 2 sets up against Italian Fabio Fognini, but faltered in the next 3 to lose the match 3-6, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3, 6-4. With the win, Fognini ended the Spaniards' 10-year run of winning at least one Grand Slam singles title each year.
The 5th set was really difficult for both sides because, you know, when you go up 1 break against Rafa, your mind starts thinking too many things. So happy about my performance.
Men's top seed Novak Djokovic, however, advanced to the 4th round with a straight sets victory. The world number 1 defeated Andreas Seppi 6-3, 7-5, 7-5. However, defending champion Marin Cilic had to save 2 set points against his Kazakh opponent before winning the match in 5 sets.
I think that's a real example of managing to hang in there and be patient for your opportunities when they're presented. You try to capitalize. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but not easy conditions, very humid.
In the women's singles, world number 1 Serena Williams got a scare from Bethany Mattek-Sands before advancing to the next round. Serena was 2 games from a shocking defeat before she recovered to beat her compatriot 3-6, 7-5, 6-0. Her elder sister Venus also won her 3rd round match against Swiss teen Belinda Bencic.
I don't think I came out too slow today. I just think Bethany played really well, and I had to do things and I had to adapt to her game. And I finally was able to get some rhythm going towards the end of the 2nd.
However, it was a disappointing day for India as both Sania Mirza and Leander Paes lost their respective doubles matches. Mixed doubles defending champion Sania Mirza and her Brazilian partner Bruno Soares lost 3-6, 3-6 to the Czech pair of Andrea Halakova and Lucas Kubot in the 1st round. The men's doubles pair of Leander Paes and Fernando Verdasco lost in the 2nd round to unseeded Americans Steve Johnson and Sam Querrey. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time now for all the other sporting action in Sports Beat. India's Vikash Krishan Yadav clinched the silver medal in the 75kg middleweight category at the Asian Boxing Championships. He lost 0-2 to the reigning youth Olympic champion Bektemir of Uzbekistan in a grueling fight that left both the boxers with several bruises on their faces. With Vikas's silver, India finished the campaign with 1 silver and 3 bronze medals. Indian boxer Satish Kumar settled for a bronze medal in the plus 91 weight category of the Asian Championship. Satish also became the 4th Indian boxer to book a World Championship berth. In the quarterfinals, Satish outpunched Tajikistan's Zukhrov and was awarded a win via technical knockout. Lionel Messi and Sergio Aguero scored twice as Argentina demolished Bolivia 7-0 in a friendly match ahead of the World Cup qualifier to begin next month. Aguero scored twice and set up 2 more goals for Lavezzi in a one-sided victory at Houston's BBVA Campus Stadium. Messi grabbed a quick-fire double after coming on as a second-half substitute. Angel Correa added the 7th for his side. Argentina will open the World Cup qualifiers against Ecuador next month. Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.